And welcome back, and gathered around our cosy glass table up on the balcony here. We have two guests fresh from their session this morning elsewhere in the ICC. We've got Richard Palmer from Tribal, welcome, and Sheila MacNeill from Glasgow Caledonian University. So, you've done your session this morning. So tell us a little bit about what it was about and how did it go? Did you come away unscathed?
I think so. I think that so the question of the debate was, should learning analytics interventions always be mediated by a human being? I was arguing that they shouldn't. Sheila was arguing that they should.
And I'm still arguing that they should.
And I'm still arguing that they shouldn't. But the key word in the question is always. I think on the large part we agree that human beings should be involved in almost all, but there are certain circumstances where machines are just as capable, and my position anyway is that they're a position where machines are just as capable and certainly more available, and that a machine-led intervention is almost certainly better than no intervention.
Well, that's interesting. I'm glad that humans get to do something in this equation. So Sheila, can you tell us where do humans make the greatest difference?
Well, I think humans are central to any kind of dialogue that we have about learning and teaching, and I think that was the premise for my argument, was that it's very easy to think that technology can do everything and we'll just give alerts to people and that will be great. But actually that's a very easy solution, and it doesn't address some of the really fundamental challenges we have in learning and teaching. Because if education is about extending knowledge and having dialogue and debate, just alerting people to, you need to do this and you need to do that, it kind of makes education a bit too much of a process that you can just go through. And I think just now, particularly when there's a lot of focus on customer experience and the student journey, having these kind of alerts makes it easy just to kind of tick, 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 and you're done. And I think there's a myth of personalisation that we really need to rally against, and we need to have humans involved at the heart of any intervention. You can't buy a machine and expect it to have any impact on student success unless you pay at least the same amount of money to have equivalent human support there as well, to make the best of any kind of interventions that are needed.
That sounds pretty convincing, Richard. I suspect you've had a tough time. I mean, you talk about the dialogue and having an awareness. What are your key watch points for viewers online in this space, and understanding and assessing the potential around analytics?
Well, I think there is great potential for analytics. I mean, it's something I'm really looking at in my own job. It takes up quite a lot of my time. But I think at the back of my mind, I'm always aware that there is kind of outside pressures on education to measure and monitor. And I don't think we really fully understand what we want to measure and monitor.
And that's not necessarily the purpose of the education experience.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we've got to be careful about that. And sometimes these interventions systems seem like an easy solution. So you can just buy something, put it in, and bang, that's you got something else that you can put into the TEF or whatever. But you're actually, by doing that, you might be ignoring some of the deeper problems that are always there. So I think we've just got to be aware and not just kind of walk blindly into a solution where machines can do everything, because humans are fundamental to education. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have them there, but we need to have humans. It has to be, and it has to be about a dialogue, and we need to have a deeper understanding about the impact of alerts. I mean, are they just annoying? I mean, students might just ignore them anyway, and for some of the more serious interventions that we might need to take place, I'm not sure if we're anywhere near getting able to have the kind of sophisticated alerting systems or dialogue with a computer that you might need. And I think, there's a whole host of ethical issues that we haven't really worked out yet. How much information does a student want to give to any kind of system, or indeed to any kind of humans? There are some issues that it can take quite a lot of work to tease those out, and kind of more of the pastoral support, and again in an educational context. So I just think we have to be very aware and kind of rally against the machine a bit more. So I was kind of very much arguing for the analytics of the oppressed. So yeah. Keep fighting humans
Feels like
of
a
the
poster.
oppressed.
But Richard, to give you a chance to kind of come back, I mean, people like me, I suppose, are often instinctively anxious about the machine component of that. Is it? Yeah. Do you think we're just too inhibited about our view of the utility of machines in that kind of activity?
No, I don't think so. I think one of the reasons why the debate was quite entertaining is that Sheila and I don't actually disagree on a whole lot. There are the vast majority of interventions should absolutely be mediated by a human being, but there are certain circumstances where human beings either don't have enough time, don't have access to the data, don't have real-time data. A student who maybe has been difficult to get hold of throughout the module, who's maybe not come to as many lectures as you'd like, who's maybe had no interaction with the virtual learning environment, a learning analytics processor can sit there and actually monitor in real time, late at night, the night before the exam, when they see this student trying to teach themselves the entire module overnight from the VLE.
That never happened, surely.
And so would the preferable situation at that point to say, well, there's no time for a human intervene, so we don't intervene, or would an appropriate and designed by academics and designed by people who know and who have been involved in student support to say to the student, we see that you may be trying to cram a bit too much here. Maybe focus on these specific areas to get a passing grade rather than trying to learn everything you would need to get a first and failing. That is in its simplest sense, an automated intervention that a human being just couldn't do because of time pressure. That's a relatively simple example. There are others, but certainly I wouldn't say that pastoral care should be passed over to machines. And I absolutely agree with Sheila that we're a very, very long way technologically from large parts of sort of automated learning analytics interventions. But that doesn't mean that we should come in with the absolute standpoint that an intervention is something that is done by a human being.
Richard, Sheila, thank you very much. It seems pretty evident to me that the machine contribution is really going to take off, and it's the challenge for us to make sure we use it wisely and efficiently. It almost sounds like I know what I'm talking about, but thank you, Sheila and Richard, both for sharing your thoughts there. Hope you enjoyed. So we're going to let you go back to the rest of the programme. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye for now.